Supreme Magus, Chapter 73, Mock Exam, Part 2. The Scorpicor was a monster big enough to make any sane man willing to face it rethink his life choices, no matter how brave he was. Its shoulder height reached almost the 3 meters. It had a scarlet red fur and name with shades of white, black, blue, and yellow. Actually, there were also red shades, even though only an interior decorator could have noticed them. The monster had the body and the head of a lion, bat-like membranous wing coming out from his back, and the tail was that of a scorpion. From one of its pocket dimensions, the Scorpicor took out a gold-rimmed pince nez that, as soon as touched the snout, grew big enough that each of its lenses became the size of a 70-inch screen. Let's see where are the nearest playgrounds. Thanks to the magical glasses, the monster gained an ability that closely resembled Solus Mana Sense, paired with the ability to zoom in like a telescope. One group is near the green spring, another in the river clearing. Despite a great distance, it was able to locate the groups of 5 unknown mana cores, identifying the students' drop spots. Order and chaos. These humans have no imagination. Everything is identical to the last time. Where's the fun in that? While grumbling about mankind's lack of originality, the Scorpicor started sending teams of 3 magical beasts to intercept the humans and banish them from the forest. Rules of engagement? Emru asked. Same old. Make a roar, growl, poop on them, whatever. Let them somehow notice your arrival, otherwise everything will be over before we can say order up. As long as the headmaster doesn't break the rules, we'll play along. The who? By my great mother, Emruk, you are an excellent second in command, but you need to start to pay attention to hierarchies. The headmaster is the boss of the castle, the thing you called Maid Mountain. It had almost finished dispatching the cleanup teams when it noticed a pleasant surprise. Wait a minute. There is one group of 6 mana cores instead of 5. I call dibs on that. What's a mana core? Asked a crone, a hawk evolved in a magical beast the size of a small piper plane. You are too young for that, Centaur. Survive another 20 years and I'll teach you how to evolve again. Boss Scarlet, you are making no sense. We are already at the pinnacle, right? Centaur tilted its head diagonally in disbelief. Yeah, right. And I was born a Scorpicor. No, dimwit, magical beasts are just a step. Before evolving in a Scorpicor, I was just a thief. And before that, I was a cute and cuddly house cat. Scarlet rolled its back, exposing a giant tummy to the sun, purring like a muscle car. Despite all its effort, it was more disturbing than cute. You are joking, right? Asked Mr. Rook. No, I'm not. It's not like only you forest folk can turn into magical beasts. And if you keep doubting my word, I'll rat you out to one of my dragon friends that once was a lizard. I'm sure he will be happy to have you all for dinner with some good red wine. The various magical beasts preferred swallowing down their incredulity. Boss Scarlet told them the most ridiculous stories all the time. Yet every single one of them turned out to be true. Emruk, Termin, Centaur, enough chatting, follow my lead. With a single flap of its wings, the Scorpicor took off. Only Centaur was able to follow it, while Emruk and Termin and Singi, a boar-type magical beast, could only stare up. What a callous beast, they said as one, while the Scorpicor was laughing its ass off. Have you seen their faces? These jokes never get old. They are too serious. They need to learn how to sit back and relax. When I was your age, Center stopped listening to the boss rantings, just nodding from time to time and giving a random answer. Meanwhile, this group was still arguing. Everyone wanted to be the leader, to prove themselves being as good as the so-called top-tier students. Lit could only think of them as four cage-hungry dogs with only a piece of meat. The problem was that the cage restricted only them from harming each other. It offered no protection from real threats. Every second they spent yelling and arguing was like setting up the table for all the beasts in the proximity. He had already tried all the diplomatic approaches he and Solus could come up with, but with no result. Him being a top tier made them dismiss all his proposals as attempts to rack more points at their expenses. Sick and tired of their childish behavior, Lit summoned a strong gale that took them by surprise, making them fall butt first on the ground. Listen up, you idiots. If being nice didn't work, he could as well return to his original demeanor. Do you see that, and that? He pointed at several claw marks on different trees nearby. Those are not rustic decoration to embellish the landscape. Beasts use them as territorial marks, meant to warn intruders they are trespassing in their turf. If you take a second to look away from your ego, you'll notice that this area is being contended by several magical beasts. Each of them is capable of leaving claw marks the size of a book, and your rantings are alerting them all. This is a group survival test. We are supposed to get along, put aside our difference, and work as a team. I want anyone watching us know that if we get wiped out before even an hour, it's all these idiots' fault, he said, looking around, having no idea where the magic cameras could be. The speech, especially the last part, worked like a charm. After getting back up, they didn't even complain about the surprise attack. They reconsidered their actions from the beginning and prayed the gods to turn back time and give them a do-over. Being the gods otherwise busy, the timeline kept moving forward, so did Lit. I'm no leader. I always hunted solo, but one thing I know. In a dangerous environment, the key to survival is being as deadly as possible. We need to find a place where to hide during the day and easily defensible at night. We must leave before the high-pitched shriek of a bird of prey filled the air while the ground started trembling below their feet. Liz stopped talking, immediately taking the 3 fake potions out of his dimensional pocket and gulping them down. He could now activate fire, earth, and air fusion without arousing any suspicion. Before he could finish drinking, Centaur swooped down, kidnapping the cutest of the 2 black-haired girls from the group and taking her up in the air. What a moron, the crone thought, still defenseless despite my warning. 4th years are the worst opponents, barely offering any resistance. Cursing whoever professor had picked his teammates, Lit could only watch the crone getting higher and higher, supporting its flaps with wonderful updrafts. I wish I could run away and let them get what they deserve. I hate teamwork, Lit thought. Everyone else was still in a daze, refusing to accept reality. What are you doing? Someone must take flight and save her. With her arms locked in the talons, she can't use magic. Lit wanted to beat them to death himself. A monster! Another monster! The high-pitched little girl-like voice actually belonged to the only other boy of the group. He was pointing at a black mass as big as a carriage, approaching at breakneck speed. It was Termin, the Chingy, joining the fray while announcing his presence, causing small quakes as he closed in. If you want to stay on the ground, take cover. While I realized that the talking was useless. The two girls had fallen to their knees, hugging each other, while the boy, judging from the repugnant smell, had pissed himself. Now I get why Trask was so hard on me and them the second day. Yet it was all for naught, Lid thought. A Chingy was a tough opponent, and Lid could only use fake magic. He needed to keep his 3 rings charges only for desperate situation. Being all 5 of them still in play, he racked his brain searching for a solution. Wait a minute. Usually Chingy are limited to the use of water and earth magic. I can exploit that. Magical beasts do not control all elements. Termin was unable to escape its boar nature, charging straight towards the prey. It saw an evil-eyed kid starting to chant something, so Termin activated one of his best defensive spells, Mountain Body. The Chingy knew all too well how predictable was its attack pattern, so he never underestimated an opponent. Mountain Body raised its body weight and defense to the limit, making it impervious against weapons and magic alike. Chant all you want, kid. You'll never finish your spell in time. I'm too fast. It will be your requiem. The Termin inwardly sneered. Yet the chant ended right after it started, and it began a new one, while a small yellow orb flew in collision course with Termin. What an idiot. My earth magic is the perfect counter to air magic. Zap me, push me, whatever. It will never work. When the two collided, nothing happened, not even a small spark against his hide. The Chingy started to think that the boy had misfired out of fear. Then Lid completed the second spell too, Breza Reale. He had invoked the training spell Lift. Suddenly, Termin felt like a gentle caress on its belly. Yet, it managed to push it several meters in the air like he was just a balloon. Then a second and a third push came, making it rise above the trees. Hidden between the bushes, Scarlet was watching the whole scene, giggling under its whiskers. Termin, you idiot. The first was a basic float spell. It wasn't meant for damage, but to make you weightless and set up for another quick spell to take you away from the ground and make you helpless. Pride goes before a fall. Listening to the boss explanation, the Chingy understood what had happened and started to laugh at itself. Damn, such a feisty brat. I'll keep you for last. He yelled at Lit, that, unable to understand animal language, ignored the beast oinks, reciting his third spell. One of the greatest advantages from Forge Mastering was that he had trained chaining short simple spells for over a month, making him able to move his fingers and mouth non-stop, no matter he was using fey magic like before or using the true one. Litre considered lift value since it allowed him to keep pushing away the Chingy even when he was casting another spell. After he finished casting his true magic fly spell, he rushed to save the girl. Center was slowed down by her weight, and everything had happened in barely a few seconds. He was expecting Termin and Emrook to have the situation below under control. When he perceived the magic perturbation in the air currents, it was too late. Lid had coupled the flight and slipstream spell, making him faster than a bullet. He had scarce knowledge about magical beasts, but he remembered well how, despite their big sizes, the birds' hollow bones made them frailer than they looked. So instead of using a spell that could be easily countered by the opponent's air and darkness through magic, he just combined his speed with the hardness and the explosive strength from fusion magic to land an uppercut right under the beast's beak. Because of his almost vertical trajectory and the fire generated by the friction between his fist and faster currents, it looked exactly like a dragon punch.